Mob Games or Mob Entertainment have just released a video, The Story So Far, and this video talks a little bit about Poppy Playtime and everything that's recently been going on, but there's a hidden message in this video that we're going to be talking about today, and it is the beginning of the ARG. But before we get into the video, if you do enjoy Poppy Playtime and like the theories and the theory crafting and the ARG stuff, make sure you hit subscribe because I do cover it whenever it comes out. We covered the chapter 3 ARG quite extensively, so if you're interested, yeah, hit subscribe and you will get updated whenever I upload a video regarding the ARG or a theory for Poppy Playtime chapter 4 or anything other than that. Anyway, shameless self-promotion out of the way, let's talk about the new ARG that has been revealed. So of course you've read the title, you know the video is going to be talking about the uncovered truth and of course the ARG. Mob Entertainment just released a video called The Story So Far, and of course it recaps all the chapters and what's going on outside, blah blah blah. And of course we get some exciting little bits and some brand new information and a secret ARG invitation. What am I talking about? Well, in the video we are first greeted with the sound of a robotic voice.
Playtime co-security log 0125. Entry to front lobby, reached by unknown intruder.
Something I find interesting about this voice is that it's somewhat similar to a sort of text-to-speech type deal. And of course they give off that kind of effect of the robotic voice. You can always pick a theme like Microsoft Mike, Microsoft Sam, things like that. And it sounds very, very similar to that. Now, for me, I feel, as we've been getting hints over the last few chapters of the prototype, I feel like this might be hinting at another way that the prototype is going to be communicating with us going forward. I do think, again, he can mimic, but when there's no one to mimic around him, or maybe this is like the earliest days of the prototype or the content of the footage, maybe it's the early days where he didn't get that kind of one-to-one or that media fed to him, I think this voice is how the prototype would have communicated once he learn about text-to-speech and things like that. The voice claims that the video we're watching is a Playtime Co. security log 0125 titled Entry to Front Lobby Breach by Unknown Intruder. I think the VHS title is aimed to make you think it's talking about the player, when in fact I think it's talking about another instance. Now, whether it was before or after the player's been, I don't know, but I am assuming it's before the player's been. And if I remember rightly, Playtime Co. know of their employees and their identities, and I feel like if it was us, the player, because we are an ex-employee, they would know we were entering the facility. But of course, they would have that documented, have it on file, they would know who we are. We would have to have some form of ID, like a picture verification as well. And Playtime Co., it's gotta be. It's corrupt, the corruption runs deep. They're gonna have files on everyone. Look what they did to Rowan Stroll. So I'm pretty certain they have no ethical morals and they will have people's files on record. And of course, after this, Dr. Harley Sawyer comes in and does a voiceover about the story so far. While this is interesting, it doesn't really give us what we want to talk about in the video, but there is some interesting bits of information he does mention in there, which I think I might talk about more in the future. At the moment, I just want to really focus on what the ARG is indicating and starting. We have to get the video and we have to freeze it at a certain frame, and the time code, if you want to go look yourself, is at 129. That's when we start the indication of the ARG, where in the background we see the old Poppy Playtime VHS when the gentleman introduces Poppy being like the best toy in the world, the only girl that ever talks and stuff like that. And that is in the background, but it's zoomed in quite a bit because we can still see the Spanish, I think, video title in the bottom right corner. And in front of this, on the overlay, it says, "Let the game begin." And of course, it is talking about the ARG. I don't know who's talking to us. I have my theories about who's talking to us. But of course, I think we can save it for a little bit later. I mean, an indication, I think it is definitely something to do with the prototype is now talking to us. I think it might not be us, the player, as in the worker, but whoever's receiving the ARG information. And And of course, after that, we get a few more flickers and screen shake, all that usual jazz. And then Poppy is presented to us front facing. And after that, again, a few more flickers, a few more shakes. Then we get a close up on Poppy's eye, it looks like. I'm a little bit in two minds with that, because I think it is Poppy's face that we're seeing. It's just the colours completely black and whited, and it a little bit defocused. So I don't know, there is still room for maybe it's not just Poppy, but again, I think it is. I think it's just a close-up of what we recently just saw, and over that there is a very, very long code that I will not tell you outright. I will of course show it on screen, but it is a very long code. And it is very interesting because we've been here before. We know from the Chapter 3 ARG where this goes, where it's going to take us, what we need to do. So this text is the first step to the ARG, and of course, like I said, we've been down the route many times. We know what we're looking for. We know what this is going to indicate. But unfortunately for me, I couldn't find the old decrypting website that we used for Chapter 3. And it's really good at these type of encryptions. But luckily, Sheep Rampage helped me out and he steered me in the right direction. So again, thank you, Sheep. And if you don't know Sheep or already are a fan of Sheep, there is a link in the description for him if you want to go support him. But the code that is displayed is a base 32 encryption. Now this is an encoding method based on 32 numerical values, I believe. It uses an alphabet of 32 digits, and each one represents a different combination of 5 bits. So of course the code is a base 32 encryption, and of course once we take those codes in that exact body and format and presented how it is, we get a result: on felted feet with bated breath, sleep draws ever near. So this could be the first indication of what's coming in Chapter 4 and what toy we will be facing in Chapter 4. I think it's a little bit too early to get close to what it could be referring to, right? But I still think I have my ideas, and of course I'm going to share them a little bit, because that's what we do on the channel. We like to talk theories, we like to do all this stuff. I like to think that the on felted feet and with bated breath is an interesting line, because it feels like the felted feet would definitely be referring to another toy. Again, this isn't the first one we would have seen. There's many like it. So again, it's a very early sign of what we're seeing in the new one. And with bated breath, it means it's eager or anxious. And I also think that sleep draws ever near is just another way for them to talk about death, and just a little bit more filtered, if you will. I imagine this happens because of the conversations they have to have within the factory, possibly with like the orphanage, and how they are so used to explaining to the kids of the orphanage that this sleep is a little different, because you know how corrupt it is and how Catnap does his job. And yeah, I think it's just to avoid mass panic and hide the truth from the children and anyone else interested in the truth that we're searching for. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really interested to see what you think. Again, I'm not doing like the really over-exaggerated theories, because they've kind of shot me in the foot beforehand. So I'm just going to stick to what I think is actually quite relevant and not go really off topic with it. But let me know what you think. I'm interested to see, again, what you think. Let me know what you think of my interpretation. Let me know if there's something I might have missed. Let me know how excited you are for the new ARG and the new Chapter 4 information, if there is any. But again, if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you hit subscribe and like, all the usual YouTuber stuff. It really helps me out in the channel, so I would greatly appreciate it. And again, it supports my content going further and forward. So with that being said, have a lovely morning, day or night, wherever you are. Stay safe. I'll keep you all up to date in the next ARG or Poppy Playtime news, and have a lovely day. Bye bye.